What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OGGM. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning here at Site B on a sunny Wednesday morning. It's 25th day of January 2020,000. I don't know what day it is. I have a migraine. It's time to take a look at all the crowdfunding projects that are coming to an end. These are all projects that should be ending about this Friday, Saturday, but you still have a chance to head on over to your favorite Kickstarter, crowdfunding, backlit, group funding, itch.io site and support them. Remember, of course, that Wizards of the Coast is trying to make you only support product on Kickstarter and all these other project sources like, group funding or whatever, or game fund, to not be able to support OGL because Wizards of the Coast seems to think they own everything. Yeah, you'd think this would go away. Sadly, there's nothing I can really recommend this week, but on the other hand, it doesn't really look like there's anything I'm going to make fun of. All right, from Worlds by Watt, we have Cloud Empire's ecological science fantasy role-playing for Mothership. Somebody has done a fantasy rule set for Mothership? Well, okay. I'm not sure that would work, but all right. It's a Mothership meets anime-inspired fantasy, so think Nausicaa, Dune, Full Metal Alchemist, in using the rules for Mothership. So it's a game set in a world that's trying to kill you, but this time it's fantasy Mothership. I never thought of trying to use Mothership as fantasy, but I suppose it does have its origins in OSR, OGL, D20. So this could be okay. I'd have to read it. I don't know. I mean, when I think fantasy, Mothership isn't the first system I go to. But I don't know, maybe Mothership would be a good system if I was trying to capture sort of a heavy metal, type of feel. From Dragon Peak Publishing for Dungeon Crawl Classics, we have Elfland. Oh, I forgot to tell you the price. Cloud Empire's ecological science fantasy role-playing is $58 is the most popular pledge. That gives you the PDF and the print version of both the books, some pamphlets, some postcards, a map, and a patch. Well, patch should be cool. All right. Dragon Peak Publishing brings us Elflands Beyond the Field We Know for Dungeon Crawl Classic. This is an adventure. $15 gets you all 3 PDFs. It's a 48-page RPG zine and 2 adventures set in the domain of the fairy. So think of it as a level 2 romp through Christopher Robin's nightmares and Winnie the Pooh, along with things like Beauty and the Beast, Hellraiser and Resident Evil and stuff like that. So fantasy, fairy tale, Disney turned twisted because it's Dungeon Crawl Classic. From EBC Publishing, we have Curse of Camelot. This is an original system. $13 gets you a PDF of the books, the digital maps, and the virtual tabletop files. It's a D6-based OSR that presents Arthurian legends with a twist. What if the Knights of the Round Table were evil? Imagine Camelot as the seat of darkness instead of the seat of light. So what? That is taking the, Morgan Le Fay was actually the good guy and Merlin was the bad guy, idea, and the how Arthurian, tried to kill the Fay in the old ways and bring about, the Catholic Church into the world of fantastic Britain, I guess. So Arthur is the villain. From Awfully Queer Heroes, we have Sphinx Spectacular Spell Companion for 5e, make 100. This is a source book for Dungeons & Dragons, $19. This gets you the digital version. It's part of the Kickstarter Starters Makes 100 initiative. It's 2 spell books filled with new spells that I don't know why they need to specify that they're queer. Unless the spells are somehow LGBTQT, why can't it just be, here are some spells for 50 at 5e that we made before we knew we were going to get screwed over by Wizards of the Coast. From Nauseam Games, we have Yoon Soon, the Purple Land 2nd edition. This is an original system. The core rulebook, $30 is the most popular pledge. Gets you the PDF and the print version. The original version of this game dropped way back in 2014. 9 years later, it's time to revisit this project with new options and art It's random setting generator, fantasy world of opium, luxury, and cruelty. So I don't know, again, trying to sort of capture the whole heavy metal, Ralph Baskey's Wizards, acid fantasy, Troikia kind of field, that late 70s, early 80s fantasy animation style of play. So yeah, $30 for another acid fantasy. The name sounds vaguely familiar. I may have seen it before. I don't know. It's hard to tell these days, especially when I have a headache. From Gallant Knight Games, we have Dungeon Caster, story-driven fantasy tabletop role-playing game. Rule set for the caster system for high caster role-playing games. So I guess this is different than their Teeny D6 system. $25 gets you the PDF and the print-on-demand versions of the book, plus some digital stuff. If you need a current climate of RPGs, Dungeon Caster advises itself to be an open source rule set. The setting agnostic fantasy rulebook gives you tools to address combat, magic, and travel. You just need to add the setting. 120 pages, OSR, sort of. And it looks like it sort of mimics D&D, but instead it's story-driven as opposed to dice-driven. So it's trying to be powered by the Apocalypse and Fate, but give you sort of a D&D-esque version of Powered by the Apocalypse and Fate. I don't know. Really, at this point, I don't think anybody should publish stuff for D20 Fantasy until we finally see the final OGL from Wizards of the Coast, and we know what finally Paizo and the other companies are going to do to compensate for what Wizards of the Coast is doing. So it's really a horrible time to be a creator in the role-playing game environment. God, it's getting hard for me to speak. Because your foothold is so treacherous. You don't know, if you release a product and then you find out OGL 1.73 isn't going to allow you to make the project. And then you go over to ORC from Paizo and you don't know yet if it's going to be a system that's actually going to want to support you or what. So God, I keep saying this, but I just feel so bad for all these people who put all this love and energy and creativity into making these projects for D&D 5e, thinking that Wizards of the Coast is always going to let them do it. And now those things are coming to fruition. These eggs are about to hatch. These guys Kickstarters are about to end, and they're like, hey, wait, a month ago it was okay for me to do this, and now it's not? What am I supposed to do? So anything going forward, if you're thinking you want to publish something or kickstart something, I hate to say it, but, probably the best thing you could do for yourself is just wait and keep playtesting it, because you don't know what's going to happen for small press publishers with this whole OGL thing. So, yeah, Gallant Knight Games. Speaking of which, from Luna Publishing for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and we have some quick start adventures for $1. We have 5 adventures based upon 5e. $5 gets you all those, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. They're $1 a pop. There's 5 of them, so $5 gets you all of them. Can't go wrong with $1 for a 5e adventure. But I can't recommend it because, again, I don't want you to spend money and then find out, oh, we can't support this project because Wizards. From Crow Heart Roleplay Resources, we have a Morkborg compatible bestiary called 40 Fiends for Morkborg. Morkborg, the game that just won't die. $20 gets you the PDF and print version of the books. It's need 40 more creatures for your Morkborg adventures, all in the bizarre, weird, heavy metal art style of Morkborg. I guess people really love Morkborg a lot more than I ever expected. And finally, from EN Publishing, we have Level Up, a 5e Gate Pass Gazette Annual 2022. This is for Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, $40. Get you the PDF and the print version of the book. It's 220 pages of all the work that they have done in 2022 for Level Up 5e, all combined together in one big thing. We haven't heard anything from these guys about how they're going to respond to OGL 1.A735 Broccoli Niner. And you would think, considering that they post stuff about their system almost every day of the week, that by now they would have said, okay, this is what EM Publishing is doing in response to OGL and what Wizards of the Coast is doing, since we made this game that we were hoping would be the Pathfinder to 5e that we've been working on for, it seems like, forever. Has there been a week that I haven't mentioned this? I don't think so. So, I mean, you gotta respect these guys' stick-to-itiveness. But now they have just spent, what, 4-5 years on this project, only to find out, well, you might not be able to follow through with the project anymore, guys. So, yeah, I think they're one of the few who haven't come forward yet and said anything about OGL. At least I'm not aware of it. We know a lot of the other companies have, and we've got currently like 175, 200 companies that have logged on to agree to work with Orc. Last count, D&D Beyond has lost almost 70,000 subs. So far, nobody who I consider important has said that they're going to just support Wizards of the Coast 1.2 OGL now that they changed it and added the new words. I'm still waiting. We're still waiting to, how is G&D going to respond? Critical Role, we're still waiting on you. Looks like Paizo and all these other companies are still, we're going to go and support ORC. And ORC, as of this time, is not going to have a censorship / wrongful wording clause. I love the fact that people are referring to me as cis. Oh, you're a cis. You don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm an LGBTQD disabled Jew. I know way more hardship than you can ever think of, dude. So it's another day where we're stuck in this limbo waiting to see how anything I'm talking about is going to be affected by OGL. Wizards of the Coast nonsense is Wizards of the Coast holds each and every one of these companies feet over the fire, and we're waiting to decide what are they going to do. So again, I'm so sorry for each and every one of you, and I want to post links and I want people to support you. But we don't know. And until we do know, I can't, it's not a good investment to say, here, buy this game that Wizards of the Coast might say you can never play again next week. In that closing, of course, once again, I have to give my drama, I guess, responses to some of the people who are trying to use this to fan unnecessarily flames. Please do not send physical threats to members of the Wizards of the Coast staff. Please do not talk bad about the staff of Wizards of the Coast. I assure you that 90% of them are as upset about this OGL stuff as we are. Most of them are scared that they're going to lose their jobs. None of them are worthy of threats or violence or hate or any of the things people have been saying. Please stop spreading rumors that Wizards of the Coast is going to come and make you burn your books or take your books away or tell you can't play D&D anymore or persecute you. Or my favorite one still, take away your gold DM crown. That's just stupid. I don't know where that came from. I never got a crown for being a DM, unless you count the Burger King crowns I had as a kid. Trust me, if Wizards of the Coast gave me a gold crown, I would have sold it. You know how much gold is going for right now? So yeah, do not burn your books. Do not destroy your books if you don't want to play anymore and you don't want to keep the books. Donate them like I did. Nothing is going to stop you from playing Dungeons and Dragons. Even if Hasbro tomorrow says we're never going to make Dungeons and Dragons ever again, and nobody can use the word Dungeons and Dragons because we still own it, even though there's now some copyright claims regarding Dungeons and Dragons going through court. I guess you didn't know. Yeah, they can't stop you from sitting out at the table or sitting in front of your computer, getting out your odd-shaped pieces of plastic with numbers on them, rolling them and saying, okay, my character climbs the stairs. What happens? Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro can't stop that. Okay. They can't burn your books. They can't hurt you. You're not going to go to jail. They can't prevent you from running 5e or making 5e homebrew content. All they're doing is saying you can't make new stuff that we're going to support, and you can't put that stuff on our platform, and you can't put that stuff anywhere where we might get our hands on it. But if you want to play a game at your house with your friends that uses the 5e rule set, go ahead. We can't stop you. You already own it. We're not going to come to your house and stop you from playing or burn your books or any of the other things that I'm hearing people say. And the fact that people are starting to attack each other again over this, again, stop. We need to stay focused. We need to stay united. We need to stay razor sharp on making sure Wizards of the Coast deals with us fairly, that allows all the publishers who have making content for the past 20 some odd years to still make content that allows people to express their love for the hobby in whatever way that is, even if that is something that somebody might consider no, like showing a little boobage or whatever. Coffee. Yeah. So please stop spreading these, and please stop threatening Wizards of the Coast employees. And that is it for today. If any of those Kickstarters sound like something you want to support, head on over to your favorite Kickstarter, Backlighter, crowdfunding, group funding, game funding, Itch.io, Lulu, whatever site, and let them know the OGGM sent you. At which point they will say, I have no idea what you're talking about. I am very interested in the Mothership Fantasy. So I guess that's my recommendation for the day. So here's a link. If that's something you are interested in, it'd be interesting to see how Mothership works as a fantasy system. Okay, that's it. Till next time, I'm the OGGM. If you appreciate the nonsense that's coming out of my mouth, let me know. If you never want to hear me talk about this topic ever again, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It helps me immensely, and it costs you nothing. Our goal, of course, is the ridiculous 1 billion subs by the end of 2023. Yes, I know I'm not going to hit 1 billion subs, but it's good to have a goal to work for. And if you're going to have a goal, you might as well have a ridiculous one. More realistically, please consider supporting the OGGM. You can use the link down below to get 25% off your first purchase from Kuso Coffee, my only affiliate sponsorship. You can go buy my merch at Big Geek Emporium. That's a great way to support me. You can donate to the Buy Me a Coffee or the Patreon, which I seriously doubt I'll ever do anything with. But please, yeah, this is my job. So consider supporting me. I'm begging you, which sounds pathetic, but yeah. Okay, my head hurts. I'm going to go. Talk to you later.